Did you know that Arkansas has the only public diamond mine in the entire United States where you can dig up a real diamond straight from the earth and keep it? That beneath its mountains sleeps one of the largest cave systems in North America, still actively growing right now? And that the water flowing out of its famous hot springs fell as rain approximately 4,400 years ago, while the ancient Egyptians were building pyramids? Arkansas is not what most people think it is. It is a state of hidden treasures, geological wonders, and landscapes so raw they feel unreal. Let's get into it. These are 22 facts about Arkansas that will change how you see this place. And stick around for the last one. It is the most literal geographical fact I have ever come across. Fact 1. Crater of Diamonds. State Park in Murfreesboro is the only place in the world where the public can search for real diamonds in their original volcanic source and keep whatever they find. The park sits on the eroded surface of an ancient volcanic pipe that pushed diamonds up from deep inside the earth millions of years ago. You do not need to book a flight to South Africa. You need to drive to Arkansas, rent a screen, and start digging. Fact 2. Mount Magazine in the Arkansas River Valley rises to 2,753 feet above sea level, the highest point in the interior United States between the Rockies and the Appalachians. It is a flat-topped mesa, and the reason it is still standing while everything around it was eroded down is simple. The capstone rock on top was too hard for the forces that flattened the surrounding landscape to remove. It survived by being harder than everything else around it. Fact 3. Drive across the flat Mississippi alluvial plain in eastern Arkansas, and you will suddenly encounter Crowley's Ridge, a narrow, rolling formation rising 150 to 250 feet above the surrounding delta. It is composed largely of loess, wind-blown dust that accumulated during the ice ages, and it survived while the Mississippi River eroded everything on both sides of it. A distinct highland ecosystem of hardwood forests sitting in the middle of flat agricultural delta land, existing only because of Ice Age wind. Fact 4. Bayou Bartholomew in southern Arkansas is the longest bayou in the world, approximately 364 miles from its source near Pine Bluff, all the way down into Louisiana. Most people associate bayous with Louisiana, but the record belongs to Arkansas. It is a slow, ancient channel of the Arkansas River that changed course roughly 2,000 years ago and now hosts one of the most diverse freshwater fish populations in North America. Fact 5. The Ouachita Mountains in western Arkansas run east to west, the opposite of almost every other mountain range in North America. The Rockies, the Appalachians, nearly all of them run north to south. The Ouachitas are a geological rebel, shaped by ancient continental collisions that folded the rock in a completely different direction. The result is two completely different ecosystems on the same mountain: sunny, dry south-facing slopes covered in pine, and cool, moist north-facing slopes supporting hardwoods. Fact 6. The Spring River in northern Arkansas does not start as a trickle. It starts as a river. It is born fully formed at Mammoth Spring, where 9 million gallons of water pour from the ground every single hour through a massive karst outlet. Because the water comes from deep underground, it stays at a constant 58 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, cold enough to support distinct aquatic life, and cold enough that the river never freezes even in the hardest winters. Fact 7. Blanchard Springs Caverns in the Ozark National Forest is a living cave system, meaning the formations are still actively changing right now. Water seeps constantly from the surface through the limestone, depositing minerals that slowly grow the stalactites and stalagmites. The humidity inside stays at 100% year-round. Unlike many dormant dry caves, this one is still being built while you walk through it. Fact 8. In 1811 and 1812, the New Madrid earthquakes, some of the most powerful ever recorded in North America, hit northeast Arkansas so hard that the ground liquefied and subsided by several feet. The St. Francis Sunken Lands is what remains, an area of swampy, permanently sunken terrain where dry forest used to stand. You can still see it today. The earthquake did not just shake the land, it physically dropped it. Fact 9. The water flowing out of Hot Springs National Park today fell as rain approximately 4,400 years ago. That is how long it takes for water to percolate deep into the earth, get superheated by the planet's internal temperature, and push back up to the surface through a fault line. When you soak in those springs, you are bathing in a rainstorm that happened while ancient Egyptians were building the pyramids. Fact 10. The area around Mount Ida in the Ouachita Mountains holds one of the largest deposits of quartz crystals on the planet, rivaling sources in Brazil. During World War II, the U.S. government specifically harvested Arkansas quartz for use in military radio oscillators because of its superior electrical properties. It was not a tourist attraction. It was a strategic military resource. The crystals formed in hydrothermal veins within sandstone and shale cracks millions of years ago. Fact 11. The Buffalo River was the first river in the United States to receive the designation of National River from Congress in 1972. That decision permanently stopped the Army Corps of Engineers from building dams along its 135-mile course. Today, it is one of the largest free-flowing, undammed rivers in the lower 48 states. It almost did not survive. It survived because Congress stopped the dam before the concrete was poured. Fact 12. The White River in northern Arkansas used to be a warm water river supporting bass and catfish. Then the Bull Shoals Dam was built. The dam releases water from the bottom of the reservoir, water that is extremely cold. That single engineering decision completely transformed the river's ecology, turning a warm water habitat into a world-class cold water trout fishery, where rainbow and brown trout now thrive in water they would never have naturally occupied. Fact 13. Hemmed-in Hollow Falls in the Buffalo National River Wilderness drops 209 feet over a sheer sandstone bluff, the tallest waterfall between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachians. The water has carved a massive natural amphitheater out of the rock that amplifies the sound of the falls into something you feel before you hear it. Getting there requires a strenuous hike. Most people have never heard of it. Fact 14. In 1930, a meteorite slammed into the ground near Paragould, Arkansas. The fireball was visible across 3 states. The sonic boom terrified everyone within range. The main fragment weighed 800 pounds, buried itself 9 feet into the clay soil, and is now known as the Paragould meteorite, the third largest ever recovered in North America. Sometimes the geology of Arkansas falls from space. Fact 15. The Cosatuot River in southwest Arkansas gets its name from a Native American phrase often translated as skull crusher, a reference to its behavior during high water. The river cuts directly across the geological grain of the Ouachita Mountains, creating narrow canyons and Class 4 and 5 rapids formed by tilted layers of extremely erosion-resistant sandstone. It is the most technically difficult whitewater stream in the state. The name is accurate. Fact 16. In the Ouachita Mountains, you will find a rock called Novaculite, the secret behind the world's sharpest blades. This flint-like rock is the finest natural abrasive known, and Arkansas stones have been the gold standard for sharpening surgical scalpels and high-end knives for over a century. Geologically, it is the metamorphosed remains of the silica skeletons of tiny marine creatures that settled on an ancient ocean floor more than 300 million years ago. The sharpest edge in the operating room comes from ancient ocean plankton, compressed and heated in an Arkansas mountain. Fact 17. Southern Arkansas sits on top of the Smackover Formation, a geological layer that contains the highest concentration of bromine in the world. Arkansas produces roughly 40% of the global supply of this element, which is critical for flame retardants and industrial drilling fluids. It is a massive global industry hidden entirely beneath the pine forests of the southern part of the state. Most people have never heard of it. Fact 18. The McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River Navigation System transformed the Arkansas River into a staircase of pools by building a series of locks and dams. The result is that barges can now travel from the Mississippi River all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma, giving landlocked Arkansas access to international ocean shipping lanes. You do not need an ocean to have a seaport. You need engineers and enough concrete. Fact 19. Arkansas sits at a convergence of three distinct climate zones: the humid subtropical south, the dry continental west, and the humid continental north. It is one of the few places in the country where all three collide. That collision is what drives the state's frequent and intense thunderstorms and tornado activity. You can have Gulf Coast humidity in the Delta while it is snowing in the Ozark Mountains a few hours away in the same afternoon. Fact 20. The Grand Prairie region in eastern Arkansas is the rice capital of the United States, and it is entirely because of a geological accident. Beneath the topsoil lies a dense, impermeable layer of clay that prevents water from draining away. Farmers can flood their fields for rice cultivation without losing the water to the subsoil. Without that specific clay layer, Arkansas never becomes a rice powerhouse. Geography made the agricultural decision before any farmer did. Fact 21. Toltec mounds in the flat Arkansas Delta were built by an ancient civilization over 1,000 years ago, and they are not just dirt piles. They are astronomical instruments. The mounds are geographically aligned so that when standing at a specific point, the sun rises directly over certain embankments during the equinoxes and solstices. An ancient civilization reshaped the flat Arkansas landscape into a calendar. The geometry still works today. Fact 22. And I promised you the most literal geographical fact I've ever come across. Little Rock is not just a name. La Petite Roche, the Little Rock, refers to a specific geological formation, a jagged outcropping of Jack Fork sandstone that jutted out of the Arkansas River. It was the first solid rock that explorers encountered after traveling hundreds of miles up the flat, muddy Mississippi Delta. It served as a permanent navigation landmark, distinguishing it from the Big Rock further upstream. The capital city of Arkansas is named after a rock in a river because that rock is actually there, and it actually mattered. Which fact got you? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you think I missed something, tell me, because your comments shape what we cover next. If wild, real geography is your thing, subscribe to Wild States Facts, where I am covering every state, one wild fact at a time. See you in the next one.